Are you looking for a fall deco mesh wreath tutorial? Welcome. I'm Julie Samaco, owner of Southern Charm Wreaths, where we teach you the art of wreath making and faux floral designing. Today, in this video, I want to show you how to make a deco mesh wreath for fall using a beautiful truck theme. Do you like the blue hydrangeas? Let's get started. All right, so I've already gone around. Let me show you what we've got. All right, so this is the kit, or the subscription box came with 2 rolls of mesh. It came with a sign, and it came with 4 rolls of ribbon. Let's see if I can grab them all. All right, so this is what came in the subscription box. All 4 of these ribbons, and then which really look pretty, I think, with the sign. And also it ties in really pretty with this deco mesh. So this is 10.5-inch deco mesh. And let me put this to the side. It also came with this wreath frame. We're going to be using 1 roll of our deco mesh today on this wreath. I have gone around and I've added it to the twist ties on the inner ring, and every little loop is about 10 inches long. So we've gone all the way around here, and now I'm going to continue making this, attaching it to the bottom ring. So to attach it to the bottom ring, I'm just going to take my little mesh area and then just attach it right there. So we're just going to connect the inner ring to the outer ring. If you want to cut it, you can, but I'd usually just attach it this way. And then I'm going to go, keep going around, measuring out 10 inches and creating this little poof. So the next time I pull it out 10 inches, and then I'm attaching it to this next set of ties. The ties come on the wreath, and there's a big debate about whether people leave the ties long or whether they cut them. Let me know, what do you do? Do you keep them long or do you cut them off? Hello, Valerie from Louisiana. How is the weather there? I see, y'all, I've been seeing some people going back to school already. Some parents are posting their kids back to school pictures, and I'm like, what? No, the summer is not over already, is it? Wow, UK watching, welcome. If you are new, welcome. I'd love to know where you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified, whenever we do another live again. All I'm doing is measuring out. I'm using my mat for 10 inches, but I'll show you another way you can measure as well. You could just take this, if you're using one of these wreath forms that have the ties already on them, what you could do is pull it and skip. Let me get this up here. Here's a tie and here's a tie on the bottom frame. You just skip this one and measure to the one opposite, and then you bring it back, and that is around 10 inches. So you could do it that way if you want. And then we just come through and spread these out just a little bit more. Sometimes these aren't exactly even, so your goal is to get them roughly the same length, or height, I should say. The same poofiness and height. Because I noticed there was a big gap between this one and that one, so I had to eyeball it. Kentucky, welcome. Do you guys put fall wreaths on your door? I know some people don't. They just do Christmas. This is really pretty mesh. Yes, I love all of the copper and the brown with this one. All right, so we've gone all the way around. I'm going to untwist where we started and lay the mesh in, okay, just like that. And I'm just going to continue around, and I'm going to add one more layer just to make sure it's good and full. So the benefit of doing using our 10-inch mesh for this is versus a 21-inch mesh. So 21-inch mesh will put your wreath at least another inch, maybe inch and a half higher. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more manageable, I know on our doors, when I put a 21-inch Deco mesh wreath on the door, it is just, real big. We always would get caught in it coming in the door. And so this one is just a little bit, less fat, I should say, less thick. And so it makes using the door just a little bit easier for us anyway. All right, we're going to keep moving on around. All I'm doing is opening up. So we're measuring out our 10 inches, right? And we've already got one attached that we just did. All I'm doing is untwisting and then laying down the next loop right on top of it. So this just makes a thicker, a thicker wreath without adding a lot of bulk. Not thicker. What am I trying to say? More full. It had some of that frame. And then also, don't worry, I've been making these Deco mesh and teaching how to make Deco mesh since 2011. And a lot of times people will get hung up on seeing the frame in the middle of the making process. So you wait until the very end of your wreath. Go through how we teach you. If you are new, you can find more tutorials on our website, southerncharmwreaths.com, and go through all the tutorials, but you'll see what I do to cover up the frame is at the end, all right? So don't worry about that until at the very end, and then you can say, okay, well, I still see the frame. What do I need to do? But in the process of making your wreath, you don't need to worry so much because you're going to keep layering more items on top of it, more elements like ribbon and flowers and things like that. Typically gets hidden. All right, let's see. Are we all the way around yet? Got one more. All right, we've gone all the way around twice on our outer ring, once on our inner ring, and I'm going to go ahead and just trim this about 4 inches or 5 inches. All right, and then I'm just going to tuck this under one of the loops. Okay, so we've got 10 inches all the way going around, and you can see that it's already starting to make a very, whimsical, fun, trendy wreath. But if you've seen these poofy wreaths on people's doors and you're like, what is that called? What is that? It's called Deco mesh. All right, so we've cut our ribbon streamers 13 inches. I've got those over here. And I'm going to pair these up together. Who loves fall? Are you looking forward to all the pumpkin lattes? All the decorating with pumpkins? The cooler temperatures? I do remember, though, not being a fan of all of the fall school stuff. It's so crazy when the kids were young, having to get them back to school and all of the parent-teacher conferences and, all the paperwork that they would bring into the house. I bet things are way different now than when my kids went to school. I bet you everything is digital and online and you don't have to bring a lot of papers home. But man, that was so many papers. Oh, Maureen does not like the fall. To each their own. A lot of people like the summer. I'm a fan of both. Actually, I feel like if I can live through at this age, if I'm living through another season, I'll be happy with it. But you guys, so if you're new to wreath making, let me know so we can answer any questions for you. Just ask away. We've got a great community here. People love to help each other out, and they'll answer and help, help answer some of your questions for you if I miss them. And I do come back and watch any comments later. So if you have any questions and I did miss it, I'll be glad to look at that later tonight. But this is just, am I putting these in upside down? No, I think it's just that one. See how much the ribbon adds just a really pretty layer of texture. So this is visual texture as well as us, feeling texture. So we've got glitter that's a little rough, and then we've got our ribbon that's soft. But I remember when I first started making wreaths, it wasn't Deco mesh, it was silk flower wreaths. I always just wanted them on my door because I love that look. I'm in the South, and here in the South we put wreaths on everything. We put them on our front door, on our back door, on the porch. We put them, sometimes people put them on in their kitchens, over their beds, over their mantles, as wall decor, draped over mirrors. I mean, you name it, it's a wreath. We can put a wreath on it. So I've always wanted really pretty, wreaths, but when I first started making and selling, I couldn't afford to buy the ones that I saw online. So I started making them. Did anybody else's story start like this? So I started making them, and but soon my neighbors wanted to buy them off my door. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's really weird. I thought that was a weird thing. And I'm like, I guess maybe I'll make you one. I got to do this one over, y'all. I'll put it in upside down. So we cut these streamers 13 inches long. We're using 2.5 inch. This all came in our subscription box linked below. There we go. That looks better. And then as soon as one of my neighbors said, you should sell on Etsy, I was researching it really fast. Like, what is that? And that's how I started bringing in extra income to our family. So we were a single income family, and I just started bringing in a little extra, doing some wreaths on the side. And then I started doing Deco mesh, and people started asking how to make them. And I wrote an ebook, and I've taught a lot of people over the years how to make a Deco mesh wreath. And then they've taken their own wreath businesses and just exploded with theirs. And it's just amazing to see and be a part of such a great community of crafters who share in the love of ribbon and flowers and all of that. But man, was I scared when I started. Anybody else was like scared when you start your first wreath? You have to understand that being afraid is okay. You're not alone. Sometimes we're scared to cut that ribbon, like, what if I mess up? So you have to, it's like cooking. Have you ever like bought ingredients for a cake and you're going to bake it and you're like, okay, here's a new recipe to try. So it's sort of like that. I mean, that's how I relate to it. You just never know until you try if you're going to like the recipe. So don't be afraid to try. I've gone through a lot of fear, conquering fear with florals, and it's been a big blessing, not only to me, but to a lot of people all over the world, just having fun with ribbon. Use it to escape the day, sometimes I've made wreaths while I'm mourning the loss of a loved one, fighting with the kids or the spouse or whatever. So you just never know how just using your hands creatively is just very therapeutic. So we've gone all the way around, and we have added in our ribbon streamers. So I just add them in and I make a little X, and you can see using these are 13-inch long streamers, that this just makes a lot of fun, a lot of texture. Now, if you want to stop here, you can, but remember, wreath making is layering. So at any time you like, well, I don't want to go that far, you can stop and then just, you know, end it there. But we're going to go ahead and add the sign that came on this, in this subscription. All right, I've got my wire attached. I'm going to get some of these glue strings off. So we've got our wire attached in 4 corners for this sign. Some signs it's just 2. This one's a little on the heavier side, so I feel like I needed 4. All right, to me, this is the trickiest part. Let me get some of my streamers out of the way. Is, you know, finding a place to add our sign that's even. So I'm going to take my wire and thread it through the back of the wreath and around the metal frame, not the mesh. And for me, I like to just give it, you know, get it started. I don't twist it very tightly until it's all the way positioned. All right, so we've got that one there. But the benefit of having a subscription box for a wreath is that, you know, every month you'll be able to put a new wreath on your door, and all the colors are coordinated for you. You don't have to source them. It just arrives, and then you get to have fun making and crafting. The frame is 24 inches. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to attach this one on this side. Just moving my ribbons out of the way. And before I secure it, I'm just going to make sure that's centered. Thanks, Miss Betsy. All right, we've got one more. And then if I like the position, I can then tighten it up a little bit more on the back. I think that's good. Let's get some of that. Let's just get a little bit of mesh out to break the leading edge of that sign. How fun! All right, I'm going to turn this over. Remember, we just did really small little loosey-goosey wire attachments, and now I'm just going to make this a little bit tighter. And then trim. I've got my hot glue over here. It's heating up, and if you need to use, you know, if you're going to use hot glue on yours, you might want to, you could use a glue gun, but for me, for the next stage, we're going to be taking this up just a little bit of a notch, adding some florals. Thank you guys for who you're sharing the video. Y'all are so awesome. I just love you. When when you guys are commenting on our videos, giving us a thumbs up and a like and a heart, it helps. It does help our small business. So I do appreciate you so much. Okay, so we're just tightening up this last one. To me, when I just tack it loosely, I'm able to shift things around. And then when I like it, I can make it a little tighter. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the easel, and you'll be able to see a little bit more of a view of it. Let's see, what am I going to use to hang this? Oh, thanks for all the hearts. Okay, so yeah, we'll put the kit subscription that I'm referring to for this kit is linked below. And if you're watching it live, I've got it pinned on the comments. All right, so you see how your ribbons will get mashed. This is why it's important to use the wired ribbon, because you're able to reshape it. So even if you're putting it on your home and you get a bad windstorm or something, it just makes it easier to fluff, reshape. And then once you've made a couple of these, it doesn't take very much time. Let's get that pushed back. Fun. All right, so let's do the outside. This reminds me of candy corn and caramel apples and pumpkin pie and spiced pumpkin lattes. I just smell the pumpkin from here. All right, so we've gone all the way around, and you could just see how we've like fluffed it up, and it looks very, very pretty. And this is what you get in your wreath kit. Now, if you're looking at something on the side and you want to combine these, there's a little hole right here. You could take the outer tie and the inner tie and then just twist them together, and it will close it up to do that and hide that little hole where you see the frame. But we're going to keep going. I want to keep, if y'all have watched me a little bit for a skinny minute, you know I like flowers. So we're going to be adding I've brought over some really pretty pale blue hydrangeas. And then I also have some blue picks and then some filler. So I thought we would add this in if you want to watch that. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and take this off and add a wreath hanger. I'll have to add one a little bit more securely, but for the purposes of this video, let's just get that up there. Okay. All right, so now let's see, what do we want to add first? Let's see, we've got this. It's got a lot of long vertical pieces. Let's see if that's going to be good. Isn't that fun with all the blue? It just, to me, it brings out, I was trying to bring out some of that blue right there in that pumpkin. I also have these turquoise. I think they're a little bit too much. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is add in I'm going to get some more leaves, I think. Let's do brown. Let's do some brown leaves. It is fall after all. So let's trim off some of these and we'll add these in. Isn't this fun, these fall leaves? Leaves are a great filler for fall if you don't want to use the greenery. All right, so we're going to start up here. And all I'm going to do is dip it in my hot glue that's over here on the side. And then we're going to put it right up here in that little hole that I just created, a little round loop. Let me turn that down. It's very hot. So what I'm going to do is just make a little hole with one of my twist ties that we secured all of our elements to. And then I'm going to dip my leaf in the glue and then put it on that in that side, that little hole area. So we're just skipping every other one. And this is where I may miss a question or two. The frame is it's a 24-inch work wreath frame. All right, so we've got this one, and here's where I'm going to put the other one. Skip this one, we're going to do one more. This looks like leather. And then we've gone all the way around. Isn't that fun? All right, so from here, let's add some flowers. So we've got 3 flowers on here. All right, let's start with our hydrangeas. I already cut some of these. If you're not sure where to place them, before you glue, just, you know, prop them up there. Let's see. Like we've got 3 there, so let's go ahead and attach these. If you think these are a little too large, you can always just trim them back. I think we're going to keep them large, just so we can see that color. Y'all, we are going to open our Wreath Making of the Month Club group later this month. So if you've ever wanted to learn how to make these Pinterest-worthy pens or Pinterest-worthy wreaths, you can, you know, join us in our Wreath Making of the Month Club group. We only open it up twice a year. So now we're opening it up for fall. We've already started fall designs there, and we're going to be moving on to Christmas, teaching them how to decorate Christmas trees and all of that fun holiday decorating that we do. We do about 8 tutorials a month, 6 to 8 tutorials a month. We answer your questions. It's just a wonderful community, very supportive. We've got people who are, trying to make a business of it, and some people who are making successful business of it. And then we've got people who are just, making so that they can give them away to loved ones for gifts. We've got people who are making them so that they can donate them for one of the causes that are near and dear to their hearts. And then we've got some that are selling. So we've got a lot of people in the group. We've got online portal. Look what I'm doing, y'all. I'm just taking these off. We've got an online course that you can watch to get you started, as well as a whole portal full of past tutorials. I need to count them again. Last I counted, they were over 400. And we do Deco mesh and soap flower and arrangements. All right, so let's see. Before I put these in, let's go ahead and do these really pretty sunflowers. So Jennifer's asking, do we tell you when the subscription is up? So what happens when you join us, it renews every month. So until you cancel, you can cancel at any time. It will just automatically renew. And if you have any questions, you can always just contact us on our website. So I'm just trimming this a little bit. I'm not sure how much of this long stuff I'm going to use. I really liked these longer, or the pumpkin. I mean, what is this called? Sunflower. Let's give that a little bit of a bend. Let's see. I think I'm going to put one right here. We do a lot more educational tutorials in our group. More than, we just don't have a lot of time here on our social media sites. All right, so we're just securing that on. Let's get that sprayed over. And we got one more. Let's do this one. I guess we'll do this one down here. Here, yeah. Or here. Let's see. Where do we want this one? Let's do that. This is where I'm like, don't know if I want these long pieces, but we'll see. Wait until everything's ready, and then you can always go back and cut out anything that you don't want. So here, let's do this one up here. Okay. And then we've got 1, 2, and a little bit more. So let's go ahead and add these. I'm just going to trim these off a slight bit more. So in our Wreath of the Month Club, we do offer some, sometimes we offer kits, and sometimes I just freestyle it based off of what I have in inventory. I'm not liking those spiky things at all, like at all. So let's go ahead and just get those out of there. The reason I don't like them, you can't bend them. They just have a mind of their own, and they're sticking up willy-nilly. Okay, let's go ahead and trim this one back as well. And we're going to reposition it. All right, one more. That looks a little bit better. Let's do one over here on this side. Okay. Now let's see, we've got some of this filler. It's got a little more long pieces to it. I think it's going to help pull some of this in. More orange. That's fun. All right, so now we've got a little bit more. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. Y'all are so awesome. All right, let's go over here and do this one. just spread this out. This one's got a lot of little pieces that adds a lot of textures, a lot of color. It's got anywhere from like little pieces of berries and all of that. And we'll do one more over here. If you do add your, silk flowers, just make sure to give it a little bit of a fluff. All right, so we've gone all the way around the outside. Now what we're going to do is use this last piece and we'll divide it up and we'll spread it out on in the inner, like around the sign. Okay, there's one. I've got one more. Okay, so now just spread around more blue. Remember, we took our hydrangea and we divided it up. So now we can just go through, hot glue these in. Where do I want to put this one? Okay, we need some more over here. Okay, one more. We got one more. I think that looks cute. So you can fluff here, and you can always go back and trim if there's something that I like to bend some of these longer pieces down. But if for some reason you don't like it sticking up too much, you can always trim these back. Or just find something that's not so, long. Find something that you like And then don't be afraid, you guys, to start. Cuteness. You like blue and orange together for a fall wreath? And there you have it, a beautiful fall deco mesh wreath for your front door. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next tutorial. Plus, comment below, tell me, what do you want to see next?